Emily, I'm so excited to have you for an email breakdown with me today. Could you please just introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. So I'm an email marketer and I've had my own email agency for this will be the 10th year, which is crazy. And we have really focused solely on MailChimp as the platform for many years. So all of our clients, we've worked with a wide range of very small businesses to, large, well-known brands, managing their emails. So designing them, writing copy, scheduling emails. And I'm outside of Chicago, and I have three little kids, and work do this all from home. But yeah, I love email, and Vicky and I are fellow Mailchimp Pro partners, and that's how we've known each other.
Yeah, connected, doing the juggle, the building both at the same time, the family and the business.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Fabulous. I'm going to go ahead and share the email that you've kind of picked out for us to discuss today.
Yes, I'm so excited about this.
Could you tell me a little bit about Tattly and yeah, how you came to be on their list and why you've kind of picked them out today?
Yeah, so I have been subscribed to Tattly for a long time, and I think someone probably recommended like, oh, you got to see Tattly's emails, um, and for very good reason. So they typically send these really, graphic heavy, bright, fun emails. They're a temporary tattoo company. So all of their, not real tattoos, obviously, but just really fun, creative tattoos. And they send maybe one email a week, I would say. And for some reason, I still open every single email they send because they're really just fun to look at. They're bright, colorful, just really well designed. So I think there's a lot to talk about in these emails.
Yeah, and I have to say I wasn't on their list. I did sign up after you sent me this because I was as soon as you open it, it's quite distinctive, isn't it? Like the style of it, you see straight. They've definitely got like a strong brand. Um,
Yes, strong brand. And what's interesting is like I always know what to expect when I'm going to click on their email. I always know what's going to be inside. It's going to be a bright, fun, long email of their products. So that's always something to remember. Like, are you being consistent every week that people will know what to expect?
yeah, yeah, because that's what keeps you opening, doesn't it? You feel safe when almost when you open these
Yes, you feel
emails.
safe. Exactly.
And straight away, it jumps into what you said, quite image heavy. And with a GIF, the GIFs, do they do that quite a lot as well?
I would say it's a mixture. They do a lot of static images as well. I do love when they do. I mean, how can you not love a little GIF like this? But I do think they do a good job of putting in the live text right under all of their images. So you'll see throughout, like you'll have these huge images, a little text, and a button, and then they repeat that kind of over and over, um, which is nice. There's quite a lot of content. I mean, a lot of graphics. Like they could probably just do the top graphic with a button and that be it. Um, but their emails tend to be, pretty long.
It's worth saying, yeah, each of these sections, like you said, is an image. It's not, yeah, there's no live text within each of these images. So the only bit that's kind of
Right.
live text is this bit here.
Yeah, and in the email marketing world, we talk a lot about like all image emails and how they're very risky for accessibility, for deliverability. If someone's out on their mobile phone and the image doesn't load, there goes your whole email. But I was actually thinking about this because I've subscribed to them for so long. I've never had an issue with viewing their email. They come into my inbox and they load. So is it really that bad if you're optimizing your images for email, so making the file size as low as you possibly can, like obviously like compressing the image a little bit so it'll load quicker. So maybe it's not all that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting as well, actually, because then I wonder, yeah, those spam filters then are controlling that a little bit as well, aren't they? Kind of, if you're always opening, then they're going to load it for you. Um,
Exactly. Like I've never had a problem with these, which is great. One thing I did notice in that first top section is that the button, I'm real big on like button colors and like making your button stand out because that is the most important thing. Like you have to get people to click on the button. And I do notice their buttons are often the same color as their content. And so they're not kind of like a contrasting color. Like they could make that one bright orange or bright red or, just so it stands out more. So I always think it's interesting their button colors are, they don't really
yeah, I
jump out.
agree because in any other email, that button there would probably stand out. You know, it's quite big, it's colorful, but within the because it's between those two images, it here it does, you're right, gets lost. The kind of in this context gets lost a little bit.
It does get lost. And then maybe, maybe it doesn't matter because maybe people click on the image. Maybe people are just clicking on that top image.
That always surprises me, yeah, when I go through people's like the reporting side of it and you can see where people have clicked. Yeah, images usually are the ones that get the most clicks.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then image after image, which I mean, this is a lot of work. Like you are, so I do have a toddler here while I do this, if you can hear her. But it's image after image. So there's obviously a designer. When I look at this, I'm like, oh, they clearly have a graphic designer that's creating this email. Like this is a person who knows how to do graphics, which I think is an interesting thing to talk about. Like a lot of times as email marketers, we often have to kind of be a graphic designer as well. And I do tell people, I'm like, I'm not a trained graphic designer. I think I know what works with emails, but there is a difference. It actually is an amazing thing when you can work with a client that has a graphic designer on staff. I do have a couple clients where I work in tandem with the graphic designer. So they will provide me that hero image. Like we'll request, hey, we need this for the hero image. They'll do the graphic and send it to us. We'll put the email together, make sure it works. So it's really nice when you actually have a graphic designer to work with.
Yeah, you kind of get, like you say, those bringing those two skills together. But it is a really interesting point because it is one of the things that I probably found the hardest to learn and incorporate is the design side. Like, because yeah, me personally, the copy, especially when you're doing emails like this, they're not copy heavy. Like, you know what you need to include, you can write headlines and things. So yeah, it's the design bit that sometimes takes that little bit longer. But
Exactly.
I wonder, I think it's a really good point as well because when you look at this email, yeah, you've got the beautiful designs, but then as you come down, it comes into the bits, the fun links to click on. So it's obviously is
Yeah, this is
then
my favorite part. Yeah.
the email marketer brain then is also there going, okay, we need some things, some things for people to click on, other than just the images. So the links is an interesting part. And I'm really excited to speak to you about this bit because when I saw this, I was like, it reminds me of your weekly emails, like having that almost kind of list of fun and valuable content.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at these links and that may be why I stay subscribed, but I always go to the bottom and go through these links, and see if I can find stuff for my own email that I can also
Mm.
use. Um, but I think it's so brilliant. And I mean, this is a lot of work because they're doing this every week, creating all the graphics, finding all these interesting creative links. But it's such a cool little section. And I do wonder, like, do people get down there and see all these? I definitely go and click on these, but I would be interested to see the click rates.
Yeah, I would. And also, I think it's a fun thing that they obviously know their audience well enough to go, oh, like the kind of people that we subscribe to our list would enjoy these type of links. So like the art of Taco Bell and things like that. Like they've obviously thought about who their ideal audience is to kind of make this section work because yeah, it's nothing to do almost with what they're selling.
Exactly, exactly. They're usually really creative, like artsy type links. And because I always click on these, I they're often from the same websites each week. So like they'll link to things on like design, I think it's called designboom.com. And so what's cool is like they have their sources, I think, that they go to pull this content from, um, which is really helpful to have those places that you can be like, okay, like we know we can get cool stuff. And that little pink one is just so cute right there.
I know, I love it. I also love the little signature because you
Yeah.
see people like founders sign things off sometimes, but it's actually from the brand name. Like the brand has a signature, which I thought was quite cute.
Yeah, and that well, I'm realizing with the penguin, then that headline is an image. Um, the headline is probably not in the builder, which you ideally would want your headlines to be live text.
Yeah, there is a bit of a shame on that one. I don't know whether because it's loading it for you on your when you're opening these, so I guess you're maybe not aware of whether they're kind of using alt text and things behind these images.
I would guess that they are using alt text. I do notice when I open the email, it does take a split second for each image to kind of populate. You know that like split second sometimes with image emails where it's like it takes a second, but it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Like it's not ideal when it takes a second, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, again, that's like testament to the fact that they're sending you good emails, so you're happy to wait that split second, which yeah, a lot of us are
Exactly.
just usually like, no, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's so cool is, if you do subscribe to their emails, like every one looks so different. So not so different, but like the next one you'll have like a blue background color, and then you'll have like, purple. So they really play a lot with colors each week,
Mm.
which is fun.
Yeah, and that probably goes back to what you said about there is probably a designer on team here because to be able to have that flexibility is yeah, it takes a lot. It's not easy to kind of go, okay, we will change like big things like the background color, but retain the look, and so people still know it's us. Yeah, it
Exactly.
takes a lot of work. Then the footer, because again, if the two things I kind of love that you always talk about are the buttons, and you're also quite well known for the footer. So I'd love to get your take on this one because it's pretty.
Yes. It's just so interesting. I just love when anyone does anything different with the footer. You know, I would say the majority of people like leave, like, especially in MailChimp, like leave the footer as the default, however it comes in MailChimp. And so I'm always like, try something different. So I love they put the little squiggly divider line, which is obviously a graphic.
Mhm.
They have a little menu. I'm a big fan of like putting a menu of some kind in your footer because that's more clickable content. Like
Yeah.
I love putting like categories of like if you're a store, like you have, boys stuff, girls stuff, women's, like having categories. Um, and just interesting how that's like two column right there too. Like they split up into columns. And then my favorite is that, all the little legal text at the bottom, they put is your love for Tattly not permanent? Womp womp. Unsubscribe from this list. And wondering about the monkey on the right, that's Freddie. He makes sure that our newsletter gets you safe and sound every week. So obviously that is a big ode to MailChimp.
Mhm.
I do think they had the owner of Tattly had a kind of partnership with MailChimp for a long time.
Ah, okay. So there's kind of like a little story behind it somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, I just think it's so cute, and I wonder where that Freddie link even goes. Does it? I wonder where that goes. I'll have to click on it. And then they still put the view email in your browser, and they put it at the very bottom. It's like the last thing. I will say that unsubscribe link is really small. Like it is hidden in there.
If it wasn't underlined, you'd miss it altogether, wouldn't you? It's kind of just yeah, the
Yeah,
text, the copy is really clever. But yeah, if those links were just a different almost like one of these like the dark kind of orangey red, pinky red they've got there, if they were that color, I think that would make this
yeah.
whole thing perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to give people that option to unsubscribe, and you don't want them to have to like squint and try to find it. Although, if they were to make it more prominent, you wonder like, would would you get more unsubscribes? Um, but I do think like it is a little hidden and squished in that text.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a cute way to do your footer. I would probably suggest they incorporate some color somewhere in there.
Mm.
But I think it's great what they've done.
Yeah, and I imagine this actually still looks good on mobile because it's going to stack. Yeah, it's going to, if we're going left to right, it's going to have, yeah, the menu, then the social media icons, isn't it? And then
Exactly.
the, yeah,
I need
so
to
it's
check.
probably still going to, quite long maybe, but it's going to look really nice on mobile.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's a pretty big shout out to MailChimp right there to have in your emails. That's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, I see. Because most people, as soon as they get on like a paid plan with MailChimp, will turn off all of the
Yeah.
kind of the MailChimp branding. However, I think they still run it. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they still do that. Like if you like, it's like a rewards thing, isn't it? Like if people then
Yes,
sign up.
MailChimp rewards. Yeah. Why would you want that?
I
Yeah.
know, and so it seems weird. That's what I initially thought this was until you said perhaps maybe Tattly had worked with them. That makes a lot more sense. Um,
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a big shout out to them. So yeah, I would be curious to know the reasoning for keeping that on every email. And yeah, and I mean dark mode, I'm sure like the live text will work just fine. Uh, it's honestly a pretty simple layout.
yeah, and actually, that's a good point when you said about dark mode there, because actually it's one that I think a lot of people forget about. But actually, when you're doing something like simple like this, where it is maybe like a color background, then the images, it's actually easier then to make dark mode work than if you've got loads
Right.
of different sections and different colors and different things going on. Yeah.
Yeah, the image is always going to load. And, I think the reason people just always go this route is because they want their specific font. They want their font to load. And so the only way to really do that with some fonts is to create a graphic, like, and that's unfortunate. But, sometimes it's worth doing and sometimes it's not worth it just to get your font to show.
Yeah. And I get it comes through testing and watching your report, like looking at all those stats and your reports and things. Because I do think spam filters they're so much cleverer than they used to be. It's not a case of you've got images in here, we're not displaying them.
Oh, yeah.
But equally, yeah, it's that accessibility point that still needs to be there.
My child is cheering for the email.
She wants some of these. She wants to play with the
She does.
fake tattoos.
She would love it. What's crazy though is I've actually never bought one, which is weird.
Oh,
Like I get all
okay.
these emails, why have I not purchased?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but that's something interesting. Do I just like it because they're emails, or are they really working? Like I I wonder how the sale, I'm sure they do great sales through email, but I would be interested to see.
It's a case of you might actually buy from them one day, and so you'd rather they were there and you could admire them. Yeah, I sign up to brands and I do that, and it's that kind of future thinking, isn't it? It's like I've got lots of like luxury brands as well that I subscribe to, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it right now, but it's interesting to see what they send. And then because they're always there, if I was ever in a position, I know where I'm going to go and buy that. Um, so yeah, it's okay. Yeah, maybe you will one day.
Yeah, one day, and maybe I will today actually, because these are so cute. But yeah, no, I'm just a big fan.
Thank you so much, Emily. And could you tell us how people find you online, but also, yeah, how they sign up to your email because it's one of my favorites.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, yes, I would love for you to check out. I send an email every Sunday, or try to. It's called Nine Things, and you can go to Emily, Emily, emails, emails.com/get, get, emilyemails.com/get, and you can sign up. I'm on Instagram every day at Emily Ryan Likes, Likes. Yeah, you can find me. I'm at Westfield Creative is my agency, Westfield Creative.com. And yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun, and I could do this literally every day with you, and we could have a blast.
Absolutely.
It's so fun.